So we're here at the Battle of the Little Bighorn National Battlefield. This, as you see in front of you, is the battlefield site. For those of you who may or may not be familiar with Civil War battlefields, you'll notice that there's not many monuments or markers which show the movement of troops and help you kind of create a picture of the battle in your mind according to troop movements. But what I like about the battlefield personally is that if you look over the hills and you look carefully, you will notice that there are markers kind of, it seems like they're randomly placed throughout the battlefield. And although there is a cemetery in the distance, the markers that can be found on the battlefield are the sites where soldiers were found following the conclusion of the battle. So it kind of helps to create the maneuvers of the battle in your mind by seeing the different markers and showing, you know, where casualties were taken. And you'll also notice that some of the markers behind us here are not white markers like the traditional United States military markers that are brown. And those are markers for Native American combatants, specifically Cheyenne warriors. And the two that we're going to go see down this hill are Noisy Walking and Lame White Man. Now over there on the hill in the distance, you'll see a gate surrounding several markers that are collected together. That is the site of Custer's last stand. And then the large marker behind the bush is marking the site where the soldiers who were killed in the battle, the American combatants, the American soldiers, are buried. Further off in the distance, you'll see a grouping of trees. Those trees are growing along the Little Bighorn River. On the opposite side of the river was where the Native American encampment originally was. The encampment consisted of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Sioux. And from there, the warriors came across the river following a contingent of Custer's troops and met them here on this hillside. Okay, so over here we have Noisy Walking, Cheyenne warrior, and over there behind the brush is Lame White Man. Several miles in that direction, we'll visit that later, is where Reno made his last stand. One could argue a more successful last stand since he walked away with his life, but unfortunately Reno ended up being blamed a lot by the American press and the American people for the defeat of Custer, and he's actually the only officer who is buried in the cemetery across the way. He's actually the highest ranking officer who's buried in the cemetery.
From the 7th Cavalry.
From the 7th Cavalry. So, I should probably also mention that there were also Indian scouts accompanying the 7th Cavalry during this mission. One of which was the, help me out here Mike, how did they pronounce it? Arikara?
Arikara.
Arikara, the Arikara peoples. So there were actually, ironically, Indians on both sides, but of course, the vast majority of Indian combatants were the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Sioux who were fighting the United States 7th Cavalry that day. So pretty interesting battlefield. Until next time.
Till next time.